Hello, world. My name is Akish Aklot Mullins, and this is the Yak Report. It seems like lately I've been saying on today's show, this is going to be a sad one. On today's show, this is going to be a sad one. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on today's show, this is going to be not only a sad one, but a horrible one. One that still trying to understand myself why anyone, let alone a child, would do this to their parent. His mother on Thursday, after she reprimanded him about smoking in the house, the Polk County Sheriff's Office said last Friday. Now, this right here, this gentleman right here is 19-year-old Seth Settle. As you see, as I've read from the opening, this gentleman right here was home, 19, in his room, smoking. They claim smoking a cigar. As you will hear, Sheriff Grady Judd. This is one funny sheriff. Like his press conferences, I can watch because at least he's entertaining and he's honest to a degree. You still can't tell me that this 19-year-old right here was only smoking a cigar with nothing in it, not laced with anything, when he took it upon himself to kill his mama. Sheriff Grady said the 52-year-old woman was found unresponsive by one of her sons outside the room of another son about 9:30 a.m. She was rushed to the Lake Wells Hospital where she was determined to be deceased. At first, medical staff could not determine a cause of death. And this is another reason why I wanted to do this story because I was confused. Reading this story, looking into this story, it said that the mother was found outside the son's room unresponsive. The thing was, there was no blood found when the mother was found. There was no blood found up until the mother made it to the hospital, was deceased, and they started to do the medical examination. Then at that time is when they realized that something just wasn't right. And that's when they called the sheriffs and let the sheriff know that, something was wrong. And at that time is when so we're going to get into now this video or the press conference that was done by Sheriff Grady Judge, one of the best press conference giving sheriffs out there. Very entertaining. As he explains how he got here.
The first one I want to talk about is a family, and this family consists of mom and dad, hardworking people, live in an upper middle class neighborhood in Lake Wells, 4 children, and dad goes to work like
So, great setup. As you see, he said the family consists of a mom and a dad, and I think 3, 4 children. I keep missing how many children these people have. Let me back up for a second to see how many children did they actually have.
a family, and this family consists of mom and dad, 4 children.
So there were 4 children. So then I believe there was then 3 boys and 1 girl. Okay.
And dad goes to work like he always does. He works, as he says, an incredible amount so that his wife can stay home and take care of the 4 children.
So while dad worked, mom stayed home, which now the story is starting to come together a little bit more. Dad spends most of his time away from home at work. Mom is home all the time. Now that the son is of age, which, he probably was a bad child all his life, but now that the son is of age, he feels as though dad ain't hardly here. So when dad's not home, he cuts up when mom is there by herself. And then when dad gets home, he, I guess, tries to pretend like he didn't do anything. He's innocent. Mom is lying, takes his little temper tantrum, slams his door and runs to the game room, I guess, and smoke whatever it is that he winds up smoking. I don't know, I guess.
And the house. So he goes to work and he receives a frantic call from one of the children that, mom's being taken by ambulance to Lake Wells Hospital.
I don't want to say that has to be. That is one of the worst calls that you can receive while at work. That anything has happened to your husband, wife, child, parent. That is the worst information you can receive at work, especially if it's on one of them days where you don't really want to be at work anyway. Everybody's getting on your nerve and you're about this far away from snapping on somebody. That's not a phone call you'll want to get.
In exceptionally critical condition. This all happens just after about 9:30 yesterday morning. So dad goes to the hospital, rushes to the hospital, and determines from the hospital that mom's died of unknown causes.
The sad part about this is we know what day and age we live in now. We're living in the COVID era. People die, they automatically assume that, if there's anything else, that's what it is. Sad thing is, from this woman passing away, and as we go more into this press conference, because I want to understand how is it that this woman passed the way that she passed, and the hospital couldn't even realize that there was something wrong. Because I don't know, is it possible that this woman could have been saved if she had got the proper medical attention at the right time? I don't know. I don't work in a hospital. I am not a doctor. I don't do none of these things. All I can go off of is like they teaches us in school, context clues. You give me the information, I process that information, and however the information come out on the other side, that's what it is.
He goes and gets the daughter out of school. She's 14. And he goes home with his family where they're all grieving together.
I don't know if I couldn't sit there. First of all, I couldn't even pull the trigger, did nothing like that, because that's just goofy, stupid. Like who really does that? That's not even something funny to do. Playing with a gun, period, is stupid. Playing with a gun inside of your home is stupid. And playing with a gun and pointing a loaded gun at a parent or anyone. But since we're talking about parents in this story, at your parent is stupid. And at the same time, pulling the trigger, stupid. So that whole night you're grieving with your family, with your mom. I mean, not your mom, because you're 86 tough. Chilling with your dad, your sister, and your brothers, grieving over mom, trying to figure out like how did mom die, and they probably was even sitting there blaming COVID. COVID had nothing to do with this. It wasn't an act of God. No, it was an act of despawn of Satan. That's who did this.
At about 11:04, we get a phone call from the hospital. They said, we've just discovered this lady that died from unknown causes that was brought in has suspicious injuries.
See what I mean, ladies and gentlemen? I don't know what hospital they took this woman to. It sounds like one of those hospitals. That's what it sounds like, because the lady went in. They, I guess, didn't check to see if there was anything going on. I don't know if she had clothes on that may had like a little hole in it, or how big the hole was. I don't know. I just know that someone didn't do their job. Maybe someone could have, well, you couldn't get a CAT scan. Well, it went in and out. You probably could have seen that. Like I told, I don't know.
Immediately, we go to the hospital and we rush to the house. The hospital thinks at that time possibly she has puncture wounds. And in fact, she does. So we get to the house and here's this grieving family, and they're shocked by all of a sudden there's patrol cars and homicide detectives that show up. And
basically what Sheriff Grady is describing is like a scene from a movie or a TV show or action flick or something like that, where everybody's grieving, everybody thought that it was over. Normally when these in the TV shows, in movies and TV shows, this situation doesn't happen to the male character or one of the male characters or something like that. It always happens to like a female character where they just finally found out what it is that she did. And now everybody's coming down and descending on them when they thought that they had got away with it, but they really didn't get away with it. As a matter of fact, it happened on Power. Yes, it happened on Power.
here's what we discovered. Seth Settle is 19 years of age. Mom takes daughter to school, comes home, and smells smoke in Seth's bedroom. So she goes and she opens the door, and she said, I've told you before about smoking in this house. Now quit smoking in the house. And she closes the door, and
We've all been 19 years old before, ladies and gentlemen. Some of us, not me, because I don't smoke in the house, didn't smoke in the house. I just felt as though it was rude. Other thing is, my mother didn't do it, so why would I do it in the house? That's even like now, at this age, it's just something called respect, especially if you have respect for your parents and for your elders. Like, for instance, anytime I have a family gathering here at my house, everybody bring bottles or whatever it is. Like, listen, pick your poison, whatever it is you bring it, that's what you do. At the same time, also on the guest list is grandma. So if grandma is coming to, everybody already know there's no drinking, there's no smoking in front of grandma, around grandma, or anything. You have to go outside. If she comes outside, and it's funny, when she steps outside, all bottles and cups mysteriously disappears. as if nothing was ever there. Whatever you were smoking or doing at that moment, you're holding your breath until she steps away. But hey, that's just how we do it. That's how we get down. It's called respect. And when she leaves, we bring it back out again and we keep the party going. She know what we do, and we know she knows what we do. But the point that we give her that respect, she don't bother us. But then you have those knuckleheads like this individual like here who think they're too cool for school, as if they can't follow the rules and understand that there are things you can and can't do at certain times in certain places. If your mother said there's no smoking in this house, even in your room, dude, go outside in the backyard. There was nothing wrong with you going outside in the backyard to smoke. She didn't say you can smoke. She just said you can't smoke inside the house. Go on the front porch. Go in your backyard. But no, you thought you can do what you want to do when you want to do it because what? You're 19, you're grown now. You're 19, you're grown now in your parents' house, so you have to live by your parents' rule. Your dad been out working hard all his life to give you the life that you have right now, where you think that you just think that you have the right to do what you want to do, say what you want to say, act how you want to act, and there is no consequence to it. Unfortunately, young man, because all you had to do was just put whatever it was you had was smoking out or step outside and smoke it. You've now traded your ultimate freedom in for a lifetime of whatever it is you're about to receive as payment for what it is you did to your mother. But hey,
He shoots her through the door. Did you hear what I said? He shoots his mama through the door.
ladies and gentlemen, two things. Do you get why I said that I like watching Sheriff Grady Judd's press conferences? He is entertaining. And when he said that right there, this boy shot his mama through the door. His mama. And ladies and gentlemen, this weekend is Mother's Day. This whole ass killed his mother last Friday, a week before Mother's Day. And what's sad about it is, Seth, your mother loved you. That's why she never put you out. Dad probably wanted to kick you out a long time ago, but mom probably was the one who was always stopping it, allegedly. And now mom isn't here. At the same time, your mother carried you for 9 months. She brought you into this world. She chose to be a stay-at-home mom and raise you while dad went out and worked and, brought everything back home to give you the life that most kids in America they only dream of, read about, or see on TV, but will never have the chance to experience. But you did. And now you're going to experience something else that, well, the majority of us will never experience because we wouldn't think about doing something as stupid as this. But, ladies and gentlemen, Sheriff Judd is about to say the most heartbreaking part of this whole story.
There's an entrance wound and an exit wound, and she falls to the floor. He jumps up, runs to where his 24-year-old brother is. It's a large house. Around the corner, from the game room, from his bedroom through the game room, around to the main.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I say I believe that the mom probably could have been saved if this jackass would have did the one simple thing as called 911 to get your mother help. You know what you did. You know you shot her. The least you could have did if you was going to do all of these nutty things is to call 911 and get your mother help. Your mom maybe possibly could have still been here, but no, you ran.
Area of the house and is screaming at his 24-year-old brother who's in the bathroom and doesn't hear what he says. 24-year-old comes out. Seth has fled the house. He goes looking for his mother and finds her unresponsive in the game room on the floor by Seth's bedroom. And
how can you, as a son, as a child, if this was a mistake, if you regretted what it was that you did, if I was a judge over this case, I would not buy that at all. As your father, if I was your daddy, I wouldn't even buy that excuse at all. Why? Because all the moves you made after does not show any of that. If you loved your mother, cared about your mother, felt remorse or sorry about what you just did to your mother, I don't think running would have been the thought that was in your head. Here is why I say this. There was a story that I did, I believe last month, sometime a while ago, about two cousins in the bathroom doing, I guess, a TikTok video or somebody's video inside the bathroom. The young boy was in the mirror and he was recording on his phone. He was in the mirror. And the girl, which was his cousin, I think she was about between 14 and 16. They were teenagers, like I said. But they were in the mirror. He was telling her, don't point that gun at him. Don't play with him with that gun. And in the mirror, you hear her say, oh, it's not, look, boom, and the boy falls. She screams, she falls to the floor. You see her lift her head back up, and then her head goes down. She made a mistake. In that moment, she knew what that consequences of that mistake was going to ultimately be, and she felt as though that not being here to live with this regret, to live with what she did was too much for her to bear. And that was a cousin, family member. You, my friend, not my friend, you, Mr. Dum Dum, you murdered your mother remorselessly because after you did it, because she told you not to smoke in the house, you ran. You did more than this, because, you know, Sheriff Grady's going to get to it. You did more than this, but you ran. You really didn't explain to your brother what happened. You ran. You left your mother there.
Of course, dials 911. There is no blood. He doesn't know what happened. He didn't hear a gunshot.
And this is what's sad, ladies and gentlemen. Seth isn't the one who called 911. If you heard what Sheriff Grady said, she dropped the daughter off at school. She came home. And mind you, it's 9:30 in the morning. He's smoking in the house 9:30 in the morning. Dude, do you not have a job to go to? Why are you up this early in the morning just to smoke? What, to smoke, playing the game? Like, what are you doing productively with your life to justify what it is that you're doing? Because your brother's in the shower. We don't know what he's about to do, but your brother's in the shower. So from the time your brother was in the shower to the time your brother found your mother never got help. You never called 911, and your brother had to call 911 after getting out the shower and finding your mother unresponsive in front of your room.
Seth's fled. They call EMS. EMS cancels us. It's a medical event until they get to the hospital. Dad now has arrived at the hospital. Mom's deceased. They initially don't see any wound. They don't see any blood. And only later, when they're preparing to move Mom, did one of the nurses notice all of a sudden there's a small amount of blood. And in fact, what has happened, she was shot.
See this, ladies and gentlemen? Now, I don't know anything about what kind of gun this could have been to do this. Ladies and gentlemen, I need someone to help me explain to me what kind of gun and bullet was used to go through a door in this woman and out of this woman and leave no blood. I would like to know what that is. In my mind, I'm thinking about a BB gun, but I don't know of a BB gun that can do all of that. That can do that damage. I remember back in the day when my little cousin's father used to shoot his BB gun out the window at people, and it wasn't breaking anyone's skin, not doing damage like that, not going through doors like that. Like, what kind of doors was it? And even at that point, if he shot through the door and then through his mama, no one at the house, even when the brother found it, didn't know that there was a hole in the door. Did he? Well, he knew the hole was in the door because he the one that put it there.
The medical examiner did the investigation this morning, and what he determined, this in and out wound went directly through her heart.
Did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? I told you that Sheriff Judd was going to let us know the irony of this story, that this mother loved her son, her disrespectful son, rebellious son, her evil little son, because it was the love in her that wanted him to do better, that wanted him to get up and do something with his life, to stop wasting his life, to stop smoking in her house, and to just do something. And she goes to close her door, shaking her head, angry in that moment. It's like the last thought, the last feeling that your mother had of you in that moment was anger. And my boy, I don't know what you believe, but you have put the worst juju on you, let me tell you. Because your mama's last thoughts, last words, last feeling, last everything was anger, contempt, and resentment towards you. And you shot her in the heart to basically seal the deal. Seal your fate. If you weren't the black sheep, you are the black sheep and everything else that goes along with it.
Her heart immediately quit beating, so there was no blood to pump out.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Sheriff Judd answered my question, and also the statement that I made to you, young man. You put the worst, like this, I'm not being funny, I'm being serious. You put the worst juju on yourself when you did this to your mother. Like I said, she was angry at you. She did have that resentment and everything else. And whatever it was that led up to this moment where she had to go off on you the way that she did, when she closed that door and you put that bullet through her heart and she fell in that moment, that spell was locked, that spell was cast, and now you are dealing with the fallout. For the rest of your days here on this earth, you'll be dealing with the fallout because you will never, ever have any more good days on this earth. There is no forgiving what it is that you did because what you did is unforgivable. Even if they say they forgive you, that memory will never change. That knowledge of knowing what you did to your mother will never change because every time they think of her, they will think of you, they will think of it, and you'll be right back where you are today.
We arrest Seth, take him down to the station, and he confesses. But he colors the event in his best interests.
Yeah, he's going to try to lie. And I would really like to know what exactly what it is that you think you can say to explain why it was you did this idiotic thing that you did. There is no excuse for me that you can give. Like you did it. Mom said don't smoke. You thought you could do what you want to do. You shot your mama. You ran. Point blank, period, end of story. Case closed.
He tells us that he's depressed, and some of his friends confirmed to us that he had a girlfriend about a year ago. He said that
you had a girlfriend a year ago that y'all broke up, and a year later you're still depressed to the point where your mom is telling you not to smoke in her house because this woman don't want to deal with you. You're depressed, you smoke, mom say don't smoke, you kill mom, you run, and now you want us to feel sorry because a woman broke your heart? Seth, do you not understand what signs are? Do you not understand that a woman who didn't love you, or, well, she didn't love you because she left you, and that was the smartest thing she ever did because if you killed your mama, you probably would have killed her too. But a woman who didn't love you because you didn't understand how to love this woman correctly, or however it went, however it didn't work. But I want to say you were the problem because you're the problem in all of this. So the woman didn't love you. She left you. Now you're heartbroken. You're at home with mom, pressing, crying, complaining every day when everybody to feel sorry for you instead of you being a man and growing up and doing what you need to do, and you wouldn't be in this situation. Because a year ago, a woman left, and a year later, you're still crying about it. Instead of manning up, owning what it is that you did. Because clearly, if you did this to your mother, there's no telling what you was putting that woman through. You could sit and pretend once it's over that, oh, you were the victim, you didn't do anything wrong, it was all their fault. But was it really their fault, or was it your fault? And that you just like to blame everyone else when you just don't get your way. Because Seth, that is what you did. You want everyone to feel sorry because this woman left you a year ago and you're heartbroken. Sir, you're 19 years old. I don't know if they're going to let you out of the jail. I don't even know if you'll ever have another girlfriend again. I don't know. I'm not God. I can't see your future. But what I can say is, if you would have started to love yourself, listen to your parents, understand what it was they were trying to tell you, all of this could have been avoided. That woman left you a year ago. You should have got over it. It doesn't take that long for you to get over something. The reason why you couldn't get over that is because you had an unhealthy attachment to that woman, as if you have an unhealthy attachment to this situation right here, to the point where your mom told you not to smoke. She closes the door and you shoot her in the heart. A year ago, that woman broke your heart, and a year later, you shattered not only your mother's heart, your father's heart, your brother's heart, and your sister's heart. Because, sir, I'm going to tell you this. Children need both their mother and their father. Your sister's 14 years old. You had 19 years to live with your mother and your father. Your sister only had 14. Your sister is growing into the age where she's really going to need her mother, and you took that away from her. You've had your mother and your father. They did their best with you. They didn't fail you, you failed them. You've also failed your little sister. Because like I said, she's going to need her mother right now. She's at the age where she needs her mother. You've had it. You squandered it. Selfish people.
Mom opened the door to get on to me about smoking, and I was holding a gun to my head. And she told
Sir, if you were holding a gun to your head and you were thinking about doing it, when your mother closed that door. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I do not support self-harm or harming anyone. I believe everyone needs to go and get help. Everyone needs help. But what I will say is, when it comes to this situation and you had the option, and you just told the sheriff that you had that option of you or your mother, you were selfish and you chose your mother. You chose to spare yourself and you chose to take your mother. Because if you originally said that the original plan was to take yourself and not your mom because you had the gun to your head, then why then move it from here to go there? Like you you could have just did yourself.
Told me to put the cigar out and close the door, and the gun accidentally discharged.
How does a gun accidentally discharge if she says, put the cigarette down? So you put the cigarette down and then the gun goes off? Like gun, cigar, gun, cigar. So I'm smoking my cigar and the gun is over here. So how do it accidentally go off if I'm doing this? And boom. Is that how it happened, Seth? You did this and boom, 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 boom. Or boom, boom. I don't believe you, sir.
We don't believe that.
I don't either.
We don't believe that because by all accounts, even his admission that mom was a absolutely totally wonderful person and the best mom you could ever have.
See what I mean, ladies and gentlemen? Well, we already here. I'm just going to keep being honest. Why is it that it's always the good ones that this happened to? Why couldn't it have been one of them parents that, okay, for instance, like old boy that went and did what he did down there in the school down there in what was it, Florida? And then the parents got locked up? Why couldn't it been parents like that this happens to? Why is it always the ones who are trying their best to do the right thing, trying their best to provide for their children and to raise their children properly and to give their children the most and the best? You know what I mean, ladies and gentlemen. I just hate to see good people, nice people, kind-hearted people. I hate for things like this to happen to them because they don't deserve that. And I hate to see ignorant people, evil people, bad people keep surviving and thriving and trying to hold others back and down for just being nice people.
We do a criminal history, not one blemish on anyone's name. Mom, dad, the 4 kids. This is truly the wonderful family next door.
Okay, I'm with the sheriff when he said all of that. And I'm just I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm thinking with my North brain and being raised in Vailsburg, or Hooterville, depending on who you ask, and seeing what I see and how, things go and move. That's why I'm having a hard time processing this right here. Because the way Seth is acting, been acting out. In my brain, if this wasn't in the area that it is right now, and you told me that it was in a different place with a different name, that is what people want to consider like low hood, ghetto, poverty, impoverished areas, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter. If it was put there, give me the same details of just Seth, of the actions of what he did, of how he murdered his mother, how he got to this point, how he's acting, his attitude and what he's doing, the guns in the house and everything else. If it was in that particular, taken out of there and you put it in the hood, I would say he was either a gangbanger or a drug dealer. Because again, those are some of the not killing his mother. Because I know gangbangers or drug dealers that love their mamas and that will put you down before they put their mama down. Not even saying that's a good thing, but it's called honoring your mama, loving your parent, and not doing what this man did because he said don't smoke in the house. Because she said don't smoke in the house.
And he kills his mom.
Yes, he did.
We think he was angry. We think he was mad.
Yes, he was.
We're absolutely confident with the type of mom that this is. There's no way she would have closed that door with her son holding a gun to his head.
No, she would not. First of all, he must be the son that got the short end of the stick where the elevator doesn't go to the top. It doesn't go up. His elevator goes in reverse. It doesn't go up. It goes down. It goes from ground level down. Because your mom was a housewife, stay-at-home mom, a job that she wanted to do willingly, and that your father accept. That's what they worked out when they got together, got married, and start bringing y'all kids into this world. Boy, your mama loved you. If your mama didn't love you, do you think she would have closed the door and left you in there with a gun to your head? If you really had a gun to your head when your mother walked inside the room with you, with how she was yelling at you to not smoke in that house, she wouldn't have got shot through the heart through a door. Y'all would have been tussling over that gun inside your room. That's what would have happened. She wouldn't have closed the door, walked away, laughed it off like everything's okay. No, she probably would have ran off out of that room to go get your brother, called your father real quick, got him on the phone ASAP, because you're in here being crazy, acting not because you got a gun to your head, because there was no gun to your head. You didn't pull that gun out until your mother closed that door. You lifted up and you shot. The thing was, what I believe, now that I'm thinking about it, this is what I believe. I believe, allegedly, this is my story, being an author of Mind Games, Brick City Story. You can get it everywhere books are sold, on Amazon, at Amazon.com, Barnes and Nobles, Apple, everybody. All of them, everywhere. Mind Games, Rick Says Story, AkeishMullins.com. So in my brain, this is how I see it. Mom came home, she smelled it. She smelled you smoking in the house. So she goes to your room, she's opened the door. This is everything that sheriff judge said. Now we're gonna start at you being in the room, her opening the door, you smoking. You didn't have a gun in your hand, you was just smoking. Mom went off on you, she cussed you out, she was yelling, she was frustrated, she was tired of your shit. And when she said what she said and she closed that door, that's when you did this. She closed that door and you picked your gun up and you shot. That's what you did. There wasn't no mistake, there was no accident, that was on purpose. But the mistake is you didn't check to make sure the gun was empty, because you probably thought the gun was empty when you did it. I don't know. You should have checked your firearm to make sure that it was empty and your mom would still be here to be celebrating Mother's Day with you all this weekend. But unfortunately,
That's our supposition. He fled, went to a friend's house, told him I accidentally shot Mom, fled past her. Didn't help, didn't dial 911, hollered something at the brother on the way out of the door. So where are the guns? Well, he tells the detectives, well, I threw them off of the Chalet Suzanne Road into...
killed your mother. You didn't help her. You didn't provide her assistance. You run into your brother. You don't explain to him what happened. You don't like bust the door down, say mom needs help. They really try to get his attention of what's going on. No. You grab the guns, you run out the house, you go to your friend's house. You had your friends dispose of it. And you still want to try to run with this was an accident, this was a mistake, you didn't mean it? Nah, bro.
At wooded area. So after hours of searching, we finally determined that another friend had come to the house.
You killed your mother, and now you are adding your friends in as accessory to murder after the fact. Are you shitting me?
And he had asked the other friend to take these two firearms away. The friend gave us the firearms, said
This friend is the only smart one out the bunch.
Wanted me to take the firearms because he was afraid he'd hurt himself.
I believe that story.
Of course, the friend didn't know mom was shot. He just knew that mom had died unexpectedly, and he was just trying to hold the firearms for Seth.
That friend was smart. That friend did the right thing. That right there was crazy. There is no way in the world that I'm going to protect you after you killed your mama. For no apparent reason. Not in self-defense, not in nothing. You just turned cold blood because she told you that you can't smoke in her house.
Dad, the other brothers, no one had any idea that Seth even had these two firearms.
I don't know what is going to come out later in this investigation as they get further into this, or what kind of connections that this young man have to the streets. But I'm going to tell you this, he is for the streets. He been in the streets and he run them streets stupidly, because the brother and the dad and the brothers don't know where he got the guns from and never knew he had a gun. And not one brother knew you had a gun. Not one of them knew. Like, what is going on? Dad is at work. I'm going to give dad a pass. Dad is at work. Dad is working hard to make sure y'all have this, middle class lifestyle. Dad is at work. What were the brothers doing that you did not know what your brother was doing? I just don't get it. Expect for me to believe that you didn't know that your brother had the gun in the house? Not just one gun, but two guns in the house? Bullshit. Because I would tell you this, I knew what my brothers was doing in the house. It's inside my house. I see what you're doing and I'm watching, paying attention. So you're trying to tell me that no one knew? Because if he was this brazen to shoot mom through a door, I know he showed y'all this gun. One of you knew about this gun. It's just that now that it's time to let dad know that you knew about that gun, you scared to let dad know about that gun because dad is on the warpath right now, allegedly.
And he's too young to possess firearms.
Wait, I thought in the South that you can get firearms at, like when you're a teenager. I don't know, but y'all gun laws in the South just be weird. But here's the thing: if he was up north and with the same thing about him not being old enough to have that gun, well, he would have been charged with have a weapon illegally.
The firearms aren't stolen. But at the end of the day, we have, without argument, the most wonderful mom in the world who's now deceased because the 19-year-old kid shot and killed.
What he wanted to say is this 19-year-old piece of shit, waste of space. I think that's all of them. So there are more. Son of Satan, this demonic spirit right here.
Killed her.
Yes, he did.
I can't begin to tell you the horror of this event. I had the opportunity to talk to Dad, who's just a great, hardworking, good man. And I can tell you the only people that are more shocked and stunned by this than us and law enforcement are the immediate family.
No shit. What, Sherlock? I'm shocked too when I've heard this story. I wouldn't doubt that the family wouldn't be more shocked about it. You get a phone call, mom is being rushed to the hospital, she really collapsed, she's unresponsive, I don't know what's going on. And then you find out after, oh, we don't know how she died. She's just gone. She's out of here. And then the police shows up and telling you that, oh no, mom's been shot. And oh, he did it. Growing up where I grew up. This story, if you take the mama out and you add in anybody else, if you take the parent out, the mom out, add in anybody else, things like this happen all the time. You hear stories about someone murdering someone, probably their friend, and then showing up at the funeral or showing up at the family house, showing fake love and condolences, fake remorse and everything else, when at the end of the day, they know that they're the one who killed your loved one. But you don't know because the investigation isn't over yet. You don't find out that this up individual who did this to your loved one has been around this whole time, came to the funeral, came to the house, came to the repad, trying to act like everything is all good, when the whole time they're the ones and the cause of your pain. That's what Seth did to his family. You murdered your mother, you didn't explain to dad and your family and let them know like there's a possibility that you did this. No, you sat there with them grieving, where not only did they have to grieve mom being murdered, mom dying, but now they have to grieve that the brother, the son, is the one who did it.
No one ever could see this coming, but for whatever reason, he shot his mom.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you this. This young man right here, what he did is unthinkable. I don't think that I could forgive him. But I mean, today I could say, yes, I can't forgive him. I could do this, I could do that. But we all can say a lot of things until that day come, that moment come, that time comes when it's time to show and prove. Everybody likes to say, if that was me, I would have did this, that, and the third. And when that time came for it to be you didn't even do the this, that, or attempted the third. This gentleman right here, all he had to do was follow the rules of the house. If you say you're grown and you're too grown to follow the rules of the house, then it's time for you to get your own house, create your own rules, and take it from there. But you couldn't do that. No. Your mom wanted you not to smoke inside the house, and you couldn't do that. And instead of smoking outside the house, you claim you put a blunt down, picked up a gun, and shot your mother through the door, through the heart, a week before Mother's Day, leaving your sister to grow up without a mother and the time that she needs her mother. You know, when it's time for her to go to her prom and her graduation and to get engaged, get married, and to have her first child. You know, all the things mothers dream of doing with their daughter and things daughters dream of doing with their mother that she'll never get. You have also taken, allegedly, I don't know, I'm assuming, because of the stories that we've heard so far about your mom, the love of your father's life away from your. Do you know what that does to a man when you take his love away from him? When a man has no love, what left is there? You know, and I'm going to leave it right there. That's all I'm going to say about it. When a man has no love, what else is there? Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm Akish Aklord Mullins, and this is the Yakri.